We've seen the clashes
Yes.
today. It does not appear to involve the military. We did see police on horseback and camelback, but there are all of a sudden thousands of what the government is calling pro-stability protesters, what the rest of the world is calling pro-Mubarak or pro-government protesters. Where did these people show up from? Who are they?
Well, I will try to explain to you as an Egyptian citizen, of course. Those people that you saw on horsebacks and camels, those are people who you would normally find in the vicinity of the pyramids, and they have been severely harmed by the disruption of tourism and the prospects of disruption of tourism for the coming months, and they will suffer tremendously economically because of those events. What you have seen today is not an ordinary scene. This is a scene, a culmination of very raw emotions that have been boiling for several days now. A lot of people have been watching the protests going on in Tahrir Square and following the events. And then the president spoke last night, and his speech was a very emotional speech in which he said very important things and announced that he will not run again. I guess the explanation that we can come up with is that those raw emotions with this type of speech by the president have touched a lot of people in a very spontaneous way. I know what has been circulating in some of the media, that this is instigated by the government.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Zaki. We obviously are working to confirm everything because we hear all sorts of things, but one of our reporters has got a picture of a pamphlet that is being distributed around the square which says, protesters stand between you and starvation. In a city of as many millions as Cairo has, in a city where homeless people live in a cemetery, millions of them, in a city where there's great disparity between poor and rich, is the government instigating? Are you playing into the hands of people who are economically desperate in order to come up with a mob to match the anti-government mob that we've seen for the last week?
Okay, that's a valid question, but let me answer it by saying the following. First of all, I need to clarify that I speak on behalf of the Foreign Ministry, and we only deal with the international events. But because I'm with you on the phone, I can explain to you, even as an Egyptian citizen, how it is viewed by people here. I don't know, and I really don't care who is behind whatever pamphlet that your correspondent found.
Right.
You can find lots of them saying this or that, saying this type of a warning or warning against President Mubarak and his stay in power and so on and so forth. You as media, I think, should not focus on those little things. The bigger picture is what? The bigger picture is we had protests in Cairo for about a week now. Those protesters called for constitutional change, government change. They had very legitimate demands. The president yesterday made clear-cut, crystal clear announcements about his unwillingness to present himself for another term. So October will be the last date he will stay in power, in his post. Second thing, two crucial amendments in the Constitution that have been called for about 5 to 6 years now by protesters have been responded to, and other amendments to follow. This is a roadmap for the future. Now, what the president said was, I want to take the country into stability. I do not, and I cannot, as a son of the armed forces, cannot leave my country in anarchy or chaos. And he intends to do that, and we think this is good for our country.